webinar, they can, okay, right. So where was I? I was talking about what Dr. Montessori is hoping that we will do to support the work of the children. So the first skill, I think everyone would agree, is the skill of observation. She said that the teacher must understand and feel her position of the observer. The activity must lie in the phenomenon, okay? And this quote actually underscores the teacher's role as a quiet witness to the child's unfolding. We are not a director of whatever is developing within them. So we are only there to witness, okay? And when the children come to us, each of them come to us at different stages of their developmental milestones. It requires them to notice, it requires us to notice with intention, and yet to see without judging them, okay? So it is not for us to compare each child, whether have they arrived, are they achieving certain milestones, nor is it for us to be critical of the parents, whether parents so and so, are they good parents or not? Okay, it's not for us to do that. Okay. And during observation, we want to see what the child is revealing to us. Let me give you an example. I will name this child Johnny. Johnny brings a little toy vehicle to school every day. And each day he brings a different vehicle. So we know from there that he is interested in transportation. So if all he does when he comes to school is just play with the toy that he brings, then how do we attract him to the work that we have there, that we have prepared for him? So one example is from the observation, we make an assessment, and we might just create an activity, such as for pouring, we might just give him a lot of small little tiny wheels to pour. For sensorial, perhaps we will think of sorting wheels by different sizes. Okay. And those who can count, if the child can count, we can get him to count and match the number of vehicles to the numerals, right? So these are things that we are always looking out for. Okay. And when we are observing, we want to take notes, write down what we see, and we need to be careful that we're not putting in our judgment yet. Okay, and I say yet, okay, and I'll show you some things that we should be mindful of. Then after the session, after the children have departed, maybe towards the end of the school day, you want to sit down, spend some time to interpret the information you have and develop an action plan to support the developmental need. Okay, I'm going to share with you. Okay, I'm going to share with you, just a minute, some observation. So we need to learn how to develop these observation journals. Some of this, for CGMS, we actually provide some templates. So for group, for your whole class, you want to be taking down notes, and then you may have the individual, the middle form, which is you want to be observing particular things. And then you will also learn to design your own forms to observe more specific behavioral needs. Yeah. Now, when we are actually doing all these observations, how do we make sure that we don't bring in our judgment? So this is an activity that I'd like you to be involved with. Okay, it's called a subjective or the objective statement, right? Now, so I have here the color-coded labels. So let's look at Abby. Abby paused for a few seconds before sounding out the word dig. She named the letter I instead of its sound. So instead of saying I, she named it as I. Okay. Now, I'd like you to think whether this statement is a subjective statement or an objective statement. Anyone? Where would you like me to put this? Subjective or objective? Objective. Okay, I'm going to park it here. Right? And that would mean Abby is struggling with reading. She is so confused. That would become subjective. Is that what you think? Anyone wants to change? Which one is subjective? You good with this? Abby is struggling with reading. She is so confused. So that is subjective. Objective, Abby paused for a few seconds before sounding out the word dig. She named the letter I instead of its sound. Okay, you happy with that? Okay, now let's do the second one. Aman stacked only 3 cubes of the pink tower, then walked away without completing the sequence. Where do you want this to go? Subjective or objective? Here, objective. Okay, I'm going to move it here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so I can fit everything in here. And that automatically means this one will come here. Okay, anybody wants it changed? All good? All good, huh? Okay, next one. Lou is very clumsy with the pouring work. Is that subjective or objective? Subjective. Lou spilled water each time when pouring from the pitcher to the cup. Objective? Subjective or objective? Okay, no worries. In the classroom, in the Montessori classroom, we always have our control so we can check for our answers. Are you ready? Here you go. Lou is very clumsy with the pouring work. That would be subjective. Lou spilled the water each time while pouring from the pitcher to the cup. So that would be objective. It's very clear. That is, so how do we, when we, why is Lou very clumsy with pouring work as subjective? Because how do you know he's clumsy? Right? It's our own, what we are judging. Okay. But however, if we say she spilled water each time while pouring from the pitcher to the cup, that's staying very, very objective. Okay. Now, Aman seemed bored with the pink tower. How do we know that he is bored? How do we determine, right? So, but we say Aman stacked only 3 cubes of the pink tower, then walked away without completing the sequence. That is being very objective. We are writing what we see. Okay, and these techniques will probably take some time to learn it, to hone it, and you will get there. Okay. Abby is struggling with reading. She is so confused. So again, this is a subjective statement because we are stating that she is confused, but she never told you she's confused. Okay. So, but we write, she paused for a few seconds before sounding out the word dig, and she named the letter I instead of its sound. That's being very objective, right? You're writing what you see. Okay, so I hope that would be helpful to help us understand how we should write our notes. Okay. Okay. So back to the journals. What do we observe? So the question would be, what do I want to know? Okay, as an educator, what do I want to know? And there's so many things you want to know. for the individual child. Perhaps you want to know what material is the child working on this week or today? How is he using the material? What is the point of interest that we need to revisit with the material? For example, we might want to correct the pencil grip. He's holding it the wrong way. Perhaps he is spilling a lot of the beans or the water. Okay, perhaps we need to uh, introduce using the sponge or the rag, okay, so that he can clean off the spills. Okay, so these are things we want to be checking in on, and the point of interest should are things that will help him gain mastery of the activity. Okay, so when you're writing your lesson plan, you need to be familiar with the point of interest. Okay, and that will become your guide. Yeah. We also want to know if the children are working alone, who is the child's constant buddy, who is um, having a lot of friends. Yeah. Is the child progressing within the developmental milestones? Perhaps, okay? And which area of milestone is he falling behind? So these are all things we want to be looking out for. And if it's a particular child that you are concerned with, perhaps you want to design your own form specifically to observe this child's development, okay? Some of us have inclusive classrooms, which means that um, you want to be observing certain behaviors, okay, for this particular child, and your standard forms may not necessarily be able to answer the questions that you are looking for. And we also want to look at small group. How are the children interacting with one another? Who is a leader in the group? Who are followers? Um, how are they working together? Are they taking turns? Are they using respectful language when they are communicating with one another? Are they inclusive, for example, or are they have very close cliques that nobody else can come in? So who is a kinesthetic learner, who is auditory, and so forth, okay? So these are things you want to be observing. And Dr. Montessori tells us that we need to keep observing to understand the child, because it is through observation that we will prepare lessons. Quite unlike the traditional classroom, where it's a one size fits all. Everybody gets the same lesson. Everything is taught in a group. And so there may be students who are falling behind, but in the Montessori environment, as most of you who are in that in the Montessori school will know, that we do cater for the different needs, and observation would be the one that guides you. Okay, the next skill I like to propose is actually language of reverence. By that, I mean, okay, it is a posture of service. Our speech is uplifting, it affirms, it also protects the child's dignity. Okay, the Montessori pedagogy asks us to prepare our thoughts, our words, our actions. Yeah. So when we teach, we are not teaching from a place of superiority. We are really guiding them from a place of reverence. So we are actually respecting and honoring each child. The child is not a project to fix, but really he's a soul to honor. Okay, so we want to be protecting that dignity in them. Okay, if you have heard of Dorothy Notter, she is an American writer and a family counselor. She wrote this book called Children Learn What They Live. And I'm going to share with you this link. I have actually typed out the poem to share with you. Just give me a second. Let me share with you the. Okay, please keep this link, right? You can access the poem that I prepared for you so that you know what it is about. I love this poem. I find that it is very, very meaningful. It is a constant on my shelf. Um, yeah. So I'm not going to read the points that's on my slide. You are welcome to take screenshots so that I don't have to repeat what I have already provided you. I will just go ahead and elaborate additional things so that we are value adding. Okay. The language of reverence. Okay. Um, Dr. Montessori informs us that every child can only acquire words they hear, words that are spoken around them. It's not teaching, but it's a process of unconscious absorption, especially at the 0 to 3 um, stage, right? So many of us have grown up perhaps deeply hurt by words. By the time we reach adolescence or become adults, we have learned to fight back also with words. Yeah. So cutting words have a way of burning their way into our soul. And it can last for 10, 20, even 50 years. That's why I put here, harsh words really sting like killer bees. And words really have power. There is a saying in a Jewish teaching that that compares the tongue to an arrow. Why an arrow and not a sword? Because when a man pulls out the sword to kill somebody, the person who may beg for mercy. And so the man who's holding the sword can decide whether I'm going to show mercy or not. Okay. And they will want to, and he can decide, okay, I'm not going to kill, I'm going to put that sword back into the scabbard. Okay. So, but if we shot an arrow, the arrow cannot return. Oh, okay. So you cannot access it. Just give me a second. Let me try and fix that. Just give me a second, yeah? I apologize. Mm, mm, it is actually opened. You should be able to access it. Okay, let me just send it in again. Okay, perhaps you want to try again and see if you can access it. It is opened. Okay, so words have power to create. I don't think many of you will know Paul McCartney. He was the one of the singers of the Beatles. It was a very long time ago. Um, and yeah, so he was having a very hard time in the late 60s. The band was at the verge of breaking up, and he was devastated, you know. He went home so exhausted. One day he fell on his bed and he fell asleep. And in his sleep, he dreamt of his mom, and his mom tell him, "Let it be, let it be." So in his dream, he began to understand what his mother was telling him, to be gentle, not to fight things, just let it go and go with the flow, and that things will just work out. And eventually, it became the title song of the album, right? So words also have power to connect, right? Um, Some people you see, they have extraordinary charm in bonding with others. They attract all the people to them. Everyone wants to talk to them. They are so enjoyable. And research shows that such people have two very unique traits. Okay, one is they talk less and listen more, and they really show a genuine interest in other people. Okay, so that is the reason why they attract so many people. Okay, and if you read the poem, Dorothy said that words can shape somebody's reality. So, you know, our human brain has 86 billion neurons. It has a lot of potential to think positive thoughts, or to contemplate negative ideas. Okay, so whichever area that we decide to go, it can become a reality because we believe it. And the one that we feed on is the one that will dominate our life. Okay, so we need to be very careful what we are saying to the children. A hurtful word to the child can bound him emotionally, put him in the emotional jail for a long, long time. Okay, so we don't want to be doing that. These children are entrusted to us. Okay, so let's cherish that life. Saying the saying the right thing at the right time is an invaluable skill to cultivate. So when we say the wrong thing at the wrong time, we are actually alienating the very people that we love. So people will want to go away from you because it's not nice to be with you, right? So something that we need to be mindful of is how we say it. Okay, how we say things actually often counts more than what we say. People remember how you make them feel more than what you said to them. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to the next activity. Okay, and perhaps you want to try this. So um, positive reframing. So we want to be working on words that have a growth mindset. We want to see each child as a person. We want to see our colleagues as equal. We want to see parents as people who have trusted us with the child. They have chosen to send their kids to our school. And we want to even see ourselves as someone who is learning and evolving. So we want to use words that expresses the best of the person, right? So let me give you an example. We say that the child is trying to make connection rather than say that the child is trying to seek attention. Okay. Will the journal observations be shared? You mean the form? Do you mean the form? I'm afraid I cannot share the form. Yeah, I'm afraid I cannot share the form. There are some copyrights, but if you join our training program, you will get the forms. Okay. Yeah. So maybe another example, instead of saying the child is misbehaving, we can say that the child is having a moment. Okay. So we want to change those words, right? So here I have a chart. I put there a was and is. So perhaps previously we say the child is throwing a tantrum. So what can we say in a positive way? Anyone? What do you think we can say? Anyone wants to try? Okay, having big emotions, nice, very nice. How about the child is testing me, testing the boundaries? Okay, he's having difficulty handling his emotions, yes? Oh, okay. Or maybe he's just trying to seek clarification, okay? Yes, exploring limits, wonderful. Okay. Cause and effect, wonderful. Very good examples there. How about the child is being needy? Need of intimacy. Okay, nice. Has needs. Yeah, simple things. Just say he has needs. Okay. Um, Manipulative. What about manipulative? Okay, doesn't know he's learning how to express his needs. Okay, he's still learning. Good. Giving me a hard time. Giving me a hard time. Is he giving you a hard time? Or is he having a hard time? He is the one having a hard time, right? Okay, so we want to be careful with the way we are saying it. When I first learned about language of reverence, it was such an eye opener. I didn't realize how important it is for us to be mindful of the words that we say, because it's like labeling the child. Okay, and I have actually, you might want to take a screenshot of this. Okay, so I've put some examples here. Okay. And I have actually built a list of words, and I'm going to share this glossary list with you. For those of you who are joining today, I'm giving you a lot of bonuses. Okay, and I hope you can get into this link. Can you try? I checked it just now. It should be opened. Okay, so these are a list of glossary. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Terms that people have contributed together. And I thought it's nice as I give talks, we come together to collaborate, and we're all learning uh, to to be mindful with our language so that we are not bringing more hurt to children. Okay. So let's talk about how to develop this skill. Okay, I'd like to propose to you, like, first of all, we want to decide that we want to make a change, right? Because if you think that there's nothing wrong with your own language, and then there's no need to change, and so nothing will change. So we are not going to learn new skills, right? So please, first step is recognizing, okay, catch yourself when you say a counterproductive language, but instead we want to practice what I call sacred noticing. Okay, so check yourself in your heart. Okay, when we become more and more aware of what we are saying, we learn to make conscious choices to replace those negative thought or action. Okay, by examining our word choice to and about children, to each other as adults, even to ourselves. Sometimes we say the worst things to ourselves. Okay, by examining those words, right? We can actually change the culture in the school. We can even change the uh, influence the community at large. Okay, so we want to make people feel valued and respected. Okay, so when we start doing that, we will make intentional um, uh, efforts, right, to speak words that are kind, respectful, and we avoid diminishing or using very harsh words or even labeling. Okay? Um, uh, Step number two, I suggest that we get people to join us in this effort. Okay. Um, I have shared with you this list of positive statements and phrases and words that we can use to refer and practice. And by all means, you might want to change it and update it. That's fine. Let's get the ball rolling. Have you heard of chain letter? If you have heard of chain letter, let's be that chain. Let's work together, okay, and build and improve on that list, okay? Um, so take note of the high frequency words that you may be using that are not um, respectful, okay, and those that are on perhaps words that you are using often, that you want to make an effort to change them, and you work on one or two words at a time. Once you find that, oh, I'm not using it so often, then you can move on to the next few words and so forth. And every day we are growing. Okay. So get your friends. When I first started, I got my friend to partner with me. I say, hold me accountable. If you ever hear me saying something negative, please hold me accountable so that I can make a change. Okay. So be kind to yourself, because change takes times. It takes practice, and we want to show compassion to ourselves. So don't beat ourselves up when we fail. Okay. It will take time slowly to change, but at least you are making an effort. And I do suggest that we bless the work that we're doing every day. I am going to share with you this, what I call the blessing, the grace blessing poem. Okay, do take a screenshot of it. I call it the Montessori inspired start and end of day poem reflection. Okay, allow me to read it. Is the acronym GRACE: ground me in stillness, let peace be my way, reverence in language, in all that I say, awaken to wonder in each child I see, compassion in action, let kindness guide me, each step with purpose. In love, I remain. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the third skill I like to suggest is teach by teaching, not by correcting. And this is actually written in Dr. Montessori's book. She tells us that we must speak clearly to the child, give him the right words, and repeat them often for him so that he can internalize it. We have established that children acquire words that they hear spoken around them. So we want to be very intentional. So teaching is actually very proactive. It is not reactive. Okay. So instead of focusing on the errors that we need to correct, we offer clear, graceful demonstrations from the start. We model to them how this is how we say nice words to people. Okay. Um, and do you catch yourself like spending more time telling other people or maybe children what not to do? It starts with a no, cannot, don't, don't run, right? So we say a lot of negative words, right? In essence, we are actually telling the children what uh what the child is actually hearing is what to do, because they remember the ending of the sentence instead of what not to do. Okay, so we want to tell them, we use our walking feet instead of saying don't run. Okay. We cross our feet when we sit down and keep our hands to ourselves. So we say all the things that we want them to be doing so that they hear that and they will practice that. Okay. So we guide with clear, intentional demonstration, because that will foster trust, confidence, independence, and maybe even good habits. Okay. Correction, when we try to correct children, it really diminishes their effort. But if we teach them, it lifts them up. Okay. Because correction draws the attention to what is wrong, but teaching is showing them the way. So it focuses on what's possible, and it affirms a child's ability to learn. Okay. And children really learn through modeling. Every word that we speak becomes a part of their inner vocabulary. So when we model that, they learn. They feel dignified. They learn from you and show kindness. Okay, and my education director tells me, it's one of her famous quote: mistakes are good. Okay, mistakes are really part of the process of learning, right? And in Montessori environments, we normalize errors as a path to mastery. So when they spill, it's good, because when they spill, we are able to teach them how to clean up, right? So it is a good thing, right? It gives us the chance to show them what to do next. So instead of saying that's wrong, let's say, let's try it another way. Or maybe, what do you notice here? Okay. Yeah. So change our language, okay? And why does it matter? Why does it matter that we change our language? Because teaching through demonstration really preserves a child's dignity and builds confidence in them. And children learn best when they feel safe and not scrutinized. Okay. Yes, I thank you for putting in all those chats. I am going to focus on what I'm sharing first, right? And I'll come back to those things. So how do we develop the skills? Oops, sorry. Okay, so we want, first of all, to practice graceful demonstrations by, when we introduce a material, we want to rehearse the language and practice and our gestures. We want to be careful with our gestures. We want to use slow and intentional movements and very minimal speech, okay? Let the material speak. Our role is to invite the child, but not to impress them. Okay, so our role is really to invite them to a lesson, and let the material call to the child so that the child is not focusing on us. Okay, we want to reframe the language we use. So I've shared that earlier. So I've given you some examples. I think I don't need to share more here. We want to also use affirming scripts. So by practicing and using this language of reverence, okay, we will change the culture of the whole classroom. And in no time, you will find the children using very respectful, loving languages with each other, and with you too. Okay, so we want to be reflecting on our tone of voice. Okay, some of us have stronger lungs, and we might speak louder. So one of the exercises that CGMS students do as part of their assignment is they record themselves giving lessons so that they can get feedback from their peers, and they learn to improve themselves. So if you don't have that chance, record yourself, okay? Do your own selfie video, right? And listen for the tone, listen for how fast you're speaking. Is there any emotional undertones when you are teaching a child? Is your language reflecting reverence, or are you trying to control the child, for example? Okay, so one more point is perhaps to observe without intervening. Okay, as Montessori guides, we are asked to really be mindful, okay, to give the child that space, respect the space, let them, so we want to be practicing silent observation during the work cycles, and notice how children are self-correcting when they're given the space. Okay, we want to trust the process. And teaching actually doesn't require a lot of words. Yeah? Trust the process, trust yourself, the groundwork that you are laying down in their lives, that is going to take root, and they will be that um, respectful child, kind child. Okay, trust your own teaching. Skill number 4 is patience. I think patience is really a skill as well as a value. Okay, Dr. Montessori says the child is truly a miraculous being, and we should this should be felt deeply by the educator. Are we honoring the child? Are we seeing the child as a person? Or are we just saying that he's a tiny being, okay, and he has to listen to me? Are we honoring the spirit right before us? Okay, and that's what Dr. Montessori is encouraging us to do. When we are exercising patience, it is developing the capacity to accept delay. That means the child is not yet there, that perhaps the child is having difficulty Um, and yeah, so we accept the child for where he is at, okay, without feeling angry, without feeling frustrated, okay. Patience is really a posture of trust. It is an act of emotional regulation within ourselves. And it honors the child's pace, right? It is really what Dr. Montessori called a spiritual discipline, okay? Um, so I'd like you to think, what does patience feels like in your body? When you're being patient, how are you feeling your body react? Are you experiencing perhaps relaxed shoulders? That's how your body feels. How's your breathing? Is it going to be fast breathing or steady breathing? What are some of the things that, yes, relaxing, yes. What else do you feel in your body when you are patient? How about your hands? Is it this or that? What about your feet? Feel your feet when you are relaxed. Is it grounded or is it crossed and tight and the muscles are clenched? How about your chest? How's the chest feeling? Is it tight or is it spacious, opened? Okay. So the next time you find your body clenching up and your muscles tense up, perhaps you're not exercising patience. Okay. And then we need to be looking out for how our body is um uh informing us, right? Okay. And I will get to how to develop the skill. Okay. One I like to use this example using our breathing. When we breathe, use it as like a pause button. Inhale in. So before you say those words, inhale slowly. Okay, so that you can let go the tensions. Okay, let go the frustration, let go of the anger. Okay, there is a huge difference when we breathe in at one go. This is like frustration. You needing to let it out of your chest. And that is different when we go deep breathing, hold it, and let it out. Okay, try it for yourself. Okay, and it really relaxes the muscles. It gives us time to think, to check in with ourselves, to regulate. Okay, um, exercising patience is also reframing the urgency. Instead of saying hurry up, let's go, let's go, let's go. We want to tell the children, okay, in 5 minutes time we're going to outdoor. Let's get ready in 5 minutes time. Or when the clock needle touches um, 5 or 10, we are going to go out. Okay, help the child understand. Give instructions that is easily understood by them. Okay, we want to normalize repetition. That means we want to give children the opportunity to repeat work without rushing them. We don't want to be rushing them to do um, the operations when they are still trying to figure out the counting to 100, for example. So give them time, yeah? Um, and maybe you want to create also a buffer time during your transitions from activity to activity. Okay, so build in those transitional activities, make it your daily rhythm for the children. I wonder uh, if some of you enjoy journaling. It doesn't have to be journaling on paper. It can be journaling in your head, talking to yourself. Okay. So reflect on those moments when patience was being tested, and how are you reacting? So check in constantly with yourself. Oh, nice. You do it with your phone. Okay, nice. Oops. Did you lose the screen? Okay, you are seeing my screen, right? Okay, because my screen went off. Okay, right. Um, the last skill, the last skill is what I call reflective practice. Nice. We all talk to ourselves a lot, right? In the head, I hope. Not when we are walking on the street. Okay, so skill number 5, reflective practice. Reflection is actually not optional, okay? It is really like the soil where the wisdom really grows, okay? And each child is truly a miracle, as Dr. Montessori says. And this is should be deeply felt by us as an educator, right? So we want to revere the life that is in front of us. Take a moment to behold the child. Look at the child. He's a miracle of life. Yeah. So to teach, wow, there's people still coming in. To teach is not to shape, but to witness. To guide is not to control, but is to honor the child. And each child who is standing before us is not a task to be managed, it's a life to behold, right? So let us pause, let us breathe, let us look at the child unfolding before us and don't rush it, okay? And if you remember the story about the butterfly trying to break out of its cocoon, you really can't help it. You need to just wait for the butterfly to wiggle out, you know, at the right time, he will spread the wings. And when they do, they are ready to take flight. So that's the moments that we want to be waiting for in our children, okay? So let us learn to speak with dignity, observe with wonder, and respond with grace. Let us create memories with the children. What kind of memories do you want for the children to remember of you? Wow, you are great, Lorena. You really type very fast. Okay, so create memories with your children. Okay. Um, so every moment we want to be recalling the time that we spend with the children, and remember that the child is not becoming someone. They already are someone, right? They are a being. Okay. And we really want to be walking beside them. Dr. Montessori says we need to be walking with humility and in wonder of this life. Okay. And I'm going to share with you some skills that we can develop. Um, reflection journal. Okay, jot down, think, observing for the day, what happened today, um, what went well, what we can do to do better. Okay. Um, okay. Maybe use some weekly prompts. What did I learn from the child this week? Okay. Uh, or did I act out of habit instead of intention? Okay. Is that something so autopilot that I'm just doing this thing? Maybe I had a teacher some years back. She has this habit of picking up things with her toes. So she will automatically autopilot. She drops something, she uses her toes to grab it, and then so it is like acting out of habit, you know. But if she was intentional, she would just lower herself to the ground and pick it up. Okay, so some things we don't think. That's why it's called a blind spot. It's the fact that it's blind, that means we don't even know. Okay. So we want to engage in peer dialogue with our friends, find a trusted colleague or a mentor, have conversations, right? Reflecting. So this happened. What can you give me some suggestions to change? How can I do this? You know, so seek advice. Find someone who can mentor us. And attend to your own inner landscape by noticing your own emotional responses, okay? And what is it revealing about you? Okay, is there something that you have not dealt with? Is popping up, okay? So we want to nip those emotions at the bud, okay? So that when we treat it quickly, we are not letting those emotions passed on to the children or and with hurtful words that we speak, okay? So I wonder if it's a time difference that people are signing in the wrong time. Okay. So we also want to set micro goals. Okay. Choose one area to grow in each week or maybe each month. All right. And then track your own progress. If language of reverence is something that you want to be working on, so check in with yourself and say, hey, am I making progress? And do I find myself speaking more positively? Okay, and what are some high frequency words that I'm using this week, and how can I work on those words, right? And remember to celebrate the small wins. Okay, embrace that work in progress within ourselves. Okay, so be kind in essence. Yeah. Okay, so the final activity, I like you to type in chat. Okay, what is one insight you gleaned from today's sharing? I know I shared quite a number of things. Um, some of you have already been typing lots of things. Okay, I do apologize that I haven't had time to look at your chat. Uh, yeah. So what is something that has spoken to you tonight? If you want to just share on the chat, type it out. Okay. And moving forward, how might it change your choices? Importance of every learner to, yes, yes. Every child is important, yes. Not a task to be managed, but a life to behold. Hmm. Be mindful of your language. Yes, thank you. Thank you. As we become more mindful, more aware of the areas we need to work on, yeah, we will make intentional changes. Okay. Words are powerful, yes. They sting like killer bees. Hurtful words sting like killer bees. And that's why I keep telling myself, you know. Yes, certainly. She is the one who is guiding us, right? Even though she's not with us anymore, her books are guiding us. Okay, so reread her books, take a time to ponder, meditate. Okay. Um, yes, touch the heart of the learner. Exactly, exactly. Okay. Yeah, so I'd like to give you this closing statement from Dr. Montessori. She says, the training of the teacher is something far more than the learning of ideas. It includes the training of character. It is the preparation of the spirit, and it really begins with us. Okay, to be able to be harnessing all these skills, it really begins with us, beginning with us wanting to make that change. It's a choice. Okay, and after tonight we can't say that we don't know, because we have heard it. And the next step is, what am I going to do about learning all these things? Hmm? I hope that has been helpful for you. I have a few more things to share. Oops. Just give me a second. Okay. I mentioned to you that um, if you will, if you will would like that certificate, please. So these are two different QR codes. One is the feedback form. If you feel like you have benefited from it, um, uh, do give us feedback, all right, for the webinar. And the certificate of certificate of attendance is that you have attended the tonight session. So if you fill in the details, a digital certificate will be issued to you. Okay. If you want a copy of the slides, yes, I'm happy to share the slides deck with you. So do complete that certificate of attendance. Okay, that's the main part. Certificate of attendance, complete that part. Okay, and then once I have your email, I will send you both the digital certificate as well as the slides deck. Okay, and those of you who came in later, probably didn't get the link for the poems and the language of reverence. I will be sending together all as a package to you. Okay, so please complete the certificate of attendance QR code. Yeah. And if you like to follow us, here are our social media. So if you want to follow us, you can, let me just erase some of the marks first. Okay, so I have my LinkedIn QR code there. If you want to follow CGMS, all the activities that we are posting, you can either follow us on Facebook if you're active there, or Instagram. I think the younger generation is Instagrammers. Older people like me are Facebookers. And those of you who like LinkedIn, we're also posting quite a number of testimonials from people who have taken our courses. Okay. And I'm actually going to take some time to share with you the training courses that we offer. Okay. So I hope you have taken the QR code for the certificate of attendance. Maybe just do a screenshot first. Okay. And I'm going to share a little bit more about our training programs. Just give me a second. So those of you who are interested to know more, here is, I'm going to just share very quickly some of the programs that we have. Okay, good. The screen is coming on. Okay. We have a online 19-month teacher training program, and this part would include the online phase for 1.5 years. It also requires you to join the face-to-face residency portion. Okay, this is the time where we all come together, all the learners come together and practice and attend a few more lectures. And oh, my name is Catherine. So Catherine Ching. Okay. So the other phase would be the practicum. Practicum, if you are in a Montessori school, then you will be teaching in your own school and have that internship. And this is the time you will be doing observations and doing case studies, looking at the doing various assignments. Okay. And we have quite a number of programs that are METI certified. That means once you graduate with us, you can actually, with this certificate, teach anywhere in Montessori schools. Okay, and we have infant, toddler, early childhood. At the moment, we have early childhood for Asia. So this is a much reduced price, and I'll be sharing those information with you. We also have the same program in the US, but it's the cost is higher. Okay. Okay, so I'm not sure why the picture is not coming out. Okay, never mind. So we are called Center for Guided Montessori Studies. So we take this guided part really very, very sacred. We really walk with you. We actually assign you 3 persons. One is your instructional guide. We also have a field consultant as well as a practicum advisor to support you during this time, to walk with you, so that you get a lot of input and learning. Hello, Ririan. Sorry, I'm just looking at the, oh, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure why the things are not coming up. Okay. So once you join our, oh dear, it's not coming out. Okay, let me just talk it through. So once you join our program, you have lifetime access to all the videos. Okay. Um, and oh dear, not sure why. Okay, never mind. So just bear with me. I'm going to talk it through. So the lectures include many curriculum areas. Okay, so philosophy, leadership, peace education, art. Okay, and if you are interested to know more, do connect with me. Okay, and I'll be happy to share more information. Okay, I'm going to just skip through very quickly to this part, which is the pricing, because the pictures don't seem to be coming up. Okay, yes, this one is coming up. Okay, so for the early childhood, those of you early childhood and are interested, okay, we have an Asia program and the US program. So those who are registering from the international markets, Europe, US, they will be charged the higher price. I think I did add wrongly. So that would be 7,009. And this will be 5,002. Okay, so for the same program, Asia learners will be charged a cheaper price. Okay, and we also have short courses for those who feel like they are not yet financially ready to put in so much money yet. Okay, but you still want to get training. We have shorter courses. We have the 10-week program, 10 weeks online. We actually have a cohort started this week. Okay, for 10 weeks, we are all learning together. Okay, and then you get to access all the videos and the resources. It's yours to keep, right? Except that you cannot download the videos. Okay, the 10-week program for early childhood is US 300, and for teacher assistant program is US 550. Okay, and that will be for 12 weeks. Okay. As long as you have a computer, you know how to use a computer, you're good to go, right? And there's a lot of it's also time management, right? And I'd like to share this part. Oh, you can't scan the survey form. Just hold on a second, huh? I will share the thing for you again. Let me just finish this part. Bear with me, Rowena. Okay, so once you have your teacher certification, which is METI, is internationally recognized, you continue to teach in the classroom for another 3 years or so. Okay, we will then invite you to come and join us as instructional guides, as field consultants, as practicum advisors to work with the younger learners, the new batch of. Okay, so while you are learning, we will work with you. But once you have graduated, we would like you to come and mentor other people. Okay, and you get paid, right? So after you have gotten your certificates, you can become a trainer, you can do workshops. At the moment, I'm also a METI site verifier, which means that those training locations, I actually go and visit with them and check that they are doing what they say they are doing. Okay, I'm also with the IMC accreditation team. Okay. So I'm gonna just end it here so that I can share the QR code again. Just bear with me for a minute. Okay, so this is the QR code. Do complete the webinar survey and then complete the certificate of attendance. You can just take a screenshot, okay, and then complete it later. Okay, And we have 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take questions. Thank you so much for your kind words. Rowena, are you able to scan it now? Thank you, Nin. And I'm sure, Nin, you have different skills that you feel are important, right?
Yeah. I'm focusing on the preparing the environment because in these days I like my student to learn some science stuff. So
Yeah.
I put more stuff in the science area, the cosmic
Mm.
area.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And Nin has just has graduated from our program. She has completed her residency as well. Okay. And those of you who want to be in touch with me, I have my LinkedIn QR, there's a QR code on the left. And if you want to follow CGMS, these are all the QR codes. My name, my name is Catherine. It's on my screen. So if you see the top right hand, or rather left hand, left hand corner, you can see my name there. Mhm. I am so sorry for those people who just signed in. I think it's a time difference. They probably are not aware that Singapore time is 8:30 now. Thank you, Rosalina. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. And there's a lot of familiar faces that I'm seeing here as well. Yes, the evaluation form. Okay, the webinar survey is the one that you will do the feedback, and then the other one on the right is the certificate of attendance. Make sure you scan that to get your certificate. Okay. And anyone wants to have any questions? How do you practice how do you practice patience? Uh, if I say simply, being intentional, being mindful, how you're feeling at that moment, take a deep breath, take time to respond, because our natural inclination is to react. Yeah, take a pause. I used to speak really, really fast. Okay, I just keep rattling and rattling because it's like autopilot in my head, so I just keep talking. But I realized that I was very careless with my words. So over time, I learned to take a moment, slow down, and breathe. I actually started with the breathing first because when I breathe in, I find that I'm relaxing my body. Okay, now I can take that moment to think how I'm going to say it, um, what words I'm going to say, how would the words come out. So I'm learning to respond, not react. Okay. Thank you, Rowena. And those of you who are interested in getting trained, do reach out to me. I'm going to share, I should share. Actually, when you do the certificate of attendance, you will get my email because I will be sending you the digital certificate. So then we can be in touch. Yeah. And I'm happy to organize a Zoom to go through the training programs that if you're interested. Okay. Any more questions? Take a deep breath. Yes. Yeah. Respond. Yes. Respond, not react. And some of you say you like the poem. This is the one that the Grace poem. Yeah. Take a screenshot of it. Anyway, yeah, once you complete the certificate of attendance QR code, I will be sending you the digital form as well as the resources, including the slides deck. Okay. So if you don't take the screenshot, it's fine. You still get it anyways. I'm glad you find it helpful. Thank you so much for taking that time. I know it's dinner time for many of you. Yeah. I really want to honor you for setting this time to join me tonight. Okay, I just want to make sure you get this. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And we will be organizing more webinars, different topics. My education director, Kitty Bravo, is going to be coming up with one more. So we're just working out the dates and the topic. Okay. So any one of you live in Vietnam? I will be coming to Hanoi. Anyone in Vietnam? Because we have some people from Vietnam coming in who joined us. No Vietnamese here? Okay. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you, Alvin.
Catherine.
Yeah, thank you so
Bye-bye.
much for joining me tonight. I
Yeah.
hope you found
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hope you found it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you so
Bye.
Thank you,
much.
Kathy.
Good night.
See you.
Good night.
Good night.
Catherine,
Yes,
thank you so much.
you're welcome. And who is? Terima kasih. Okay, good night. Good night.
Good night, Catherine.
Good night.